Noisy Pixel.
From its presentation alone, Meteor World Actor has a stylish and cool ambience, and this is clear from the very first minutes of its story and opening video. However, the character routes end up falling short of this otherwise great narrative. Meteor World Actor has fascinating world building. It takes place in a fantasy world where humans, elves, and other races exist, but instead of being based in a medieval period, it's set in the future. The most crucial areas of the story is the Seventh Republic, a country where some of those races live in harmony despite being ruled exclusively by humans. Tensions between races are commonplace, but it's mostly peaceful at the end of the day compared to the days of yore. Once upon a time, something happened in the Republic that deprived it of sunlight, turning its urban areas into eternal night cityscapes. Along with a few other species, there's an in-game species known as Segets who are a significant part of the Seventh Republic, despite humans being the original population and having the most power. Meteor World Actor tells the story of Ruka, a detective in the 13th Division of the National Police Agency. He's a longtime veteran in the force, but he's still at the lowest rank of the investigation team. The 13th Division is an ostracized group of nobodies, and Ruka is known to have a low rate of success in his cases, besides obvious personality issues. Frankly speaking, Ruka is a mess, being too apathetic to get things done most of the time and getting on the nerves of pretty much anyone he meets. He's terrible with women, and he has a big ego, which leads him to trying to treat others as inferior quite often. However, he's a memorable protagonist with an intriguing backstory, and most of the things he does are more of his twisted idea of a joke than anything else. It's easy to feel empathy for him, like a friend with a bad attitude who is still dear despite it. The story begins when he gets a new partner, a rookie named Claris, who was an elf sent straight to the 13th Division, and he has to train her. Being the lazy bum that he is, the two butt heads often, mostly with humorous retorts. Other important characters include other division members such as Vars, Tamako, Sosuke, and Chief Yamada. They're a fun group who jokingly pick on Ruka for his constant failures. Even more relevant to the overall game are the heroines, since Meteor World Actor is an Arage. Besides Claris, there are three other main girls. The first being Chiffin, who looks small, a trait that is actually common in Saget females, but she is actually really strong. There's also Mel, a human who comes from Genome Land, who is polite, kind, and hiding because of a particular circumstance. And the final interest is Komichi, a cop from the Traffic Division. She's a sociable girl who's famous in the NPA, making friends wherever she goes. All of the characters are somehow evolved with specific cases Ruka ends up investigating, and their backstories are intriguing enough to make them all special in their own ways. As the story progresses, more pieces of the world are shown, making for an imposing setting. Keeping in mind the player has no bearing in this investigation, which is solved by the characters themselves. Another aspect that's fundamental to the game is its atmosphere. The Seventh Republic is a dark place, but instead of the pure ominous threat of darkness, it's filled with cozy ambience of the coolness of the night. Rather than fear, it evokes curiosity with a fantastic jazzy soundtrack that coordinates the mood of the events. Visually speaking, it's also impeccable. The characters are really impressive in both sprites and CGs, and the interface style with cooler colors collaborates with the ambience. The backgrounds are detailed and interesting, with urban areas showing buildings that feel futuristic and old enough to make for a believable world that people live in. However, after a while, the reuse of the detailed backgrounds can be a bit odd, as it's easy to associate them with previous scenes from different areas. The issue with the game is definitely the character routes. Each heroine's route is expanded, offering a better insight into their backstory, but the ending abruptly halts any actual development. Though the game isn't short at all, these are lacking, presenting much more significant issues that are left unresolved. I'll also mention that the sex scenes, even with the mosaics, are really, for lack of a better word, sexy. However, the narrative ends up with a feeling of being unfulfilled, like putting a tape of "hey, they are happy now" in a broken aquarium of plots that absolutely should have been resolved and are just leaking for the next adventure. Sadly, this brings to a head that the character routes are rushed and leave a lot to be desired. They have a few great moments, but they don't even deal with what is going on sufficiently. In the end, Meteor World Actor offers a well-defined atmosphere with world building on a level that matches some of the best in the genre. Sadly, the character routes are underwhelming, but that doesn't compromise everything it has to offer leading up to its conclusion. I'd love to see a proper continuation of the tale of these fascinating characters who live in a city entirely covered by the darkness of night. Noisy Pixel is giving Meteor World Actor an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.